Noel McGrath here for SevereMMA.com alongside Mirsad Bektic, you had a UFC 204. Mirsad, it's been a turbulent sort of few weeks for you, to say the least, with the number of opponents pulling out. First of all, it was Darren Elkins, then Ireland Allen and Russell Dewan is stepping in. Talk to me about the frustrations coming into this fight.
There's not so much frustrations. I just kind of focused on myself. I didn't really worry about anything. I was very confident that UFC would find a replacement, and I was very confident in my training. So I just kind of kept my mind in the right direction and stayed focused on what I had to do, and which is win.
We look at your opponent, Russell Dewan. Obviously now he's he's coming off 3 losses. He's a bantamweight. He's stepping up. With all greatest respect to him, do you feel as though maybe the UFC are possibly thrown to the wolves a little bit?
Not really. I mean, he stepped up. I'm sure. I know for a fact UFC offered me to a lot of other guys, and a lot of guys said no, and I don't blame them. I feel like I'm a bad fight for a lot of people, but Russell stepped up, and much respect to him. He's a game opponent. I remember watching him fight versus Pedro Muniz, and I thought he was winning that fight until he got caught. So he's a very dangerous opponent. He can switch it up. He can do a lot of things. He does. He's great, but I believe I'm the best, and that's just how I feel, and that's just how I see it, and I'm just gonna go out there and prove that.
Mirsad, a lot of people are very high in your ability as one of the up-and-coming featherweights in the world. Why do you think it is so many guys pull out of fights against you? It seems to be a reoccurring thing, and your last number of fights especially.
Yeah, I think this is the third fight, my third fight in the UFC that I've had change of opponents. I believe, sometimes you don't know if the guy's really injured or, he just doesn't want to fight. But I believe guys train hard for me because they know what to expect from me. And in that case, they injure themselves. Just like myself, I train hard for a lot of fights and I've injured myself. So I don't really take it in a bad way. I think people just have to be smarter with training. And yeah, but when I get ready for a fight, I'm not, I always get ready for that opponent's strengths and I get ready for him, but there's always that side of me like, hey, things can change. Just like I thought things were going to change in this fight, but after like week 3 and week 2, I was like, okay, no, it's Arnold, but things didn't go that way.
You mentioned injuries. You're coming off a long layoff. It's been 18 months nearly since the Martins fight. You had the knee injury. How is the knee? Is everything all good?
Man, my body is completely healthy. My knee is perfectly healthy. I'm ready physically, mentally, and it hasn't been no layoff. Layoff is what people that don't work, people that don't work get laid off. I work, and I wasn't a layoff. I was working the whole time. I was improving. I was in a dump sometimes. I had days where I didn't want to. I was really in a dark place, but I was really upset about what happened, and, with the injury and a lot of other things. But I picked myself up. I had the right group of people around me, and just kind of picked myself up and stayed focused. It wasn't easy, but life isn't easy.
I've noticed on your social networks as well. You're obviously very passionate about your religion, but you seem to find solace, maybe in the time you're out injured. That's helped you get through, the injury and sitting on the sidelines, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. Like I told the other reporter, this allowed me to take a step back and really look at other things in my life. When I was getting ready for Crowd Jury, and after my Lucas Martins fight, I started training that week in Vegas. When I was at the Athlete Summit, guys were hanging out, and I was at the gym with Dolce working out. So I really let my desire to win run me down and, get me injured. And so this allowed me to take a step back, look at all areas of my life as my physical trainer and the guy that ran my whole program for this fight and my PT, Doug Ostrich. He kind of really stayed on me about mentoring me, and it kind of looked like this stool. Life is like physical, spiritual, and mental and educational. And he said you got to make sure this whole stool, all the 3 legs are in place, and really kind of gave me a concept to go work on all areas of my life, and that's what I've been doing.
Just one final one for you. You mentioned to me when you were on our show on SevereMMA.com talking brawls that Hacker Diaz was the opponent you wanted a number of months back. Starting on Saturday night, start of a big year, kicking on to 2017 for you, a bit of consistency, a number of back-to-back fights. I'm sure you're looking to push on this year.
Well, I just figured that he was the top guy, and I figured that's what I would get. I would get a top guy, and he was a good guy that you get. He's a big name. We're with a great team, but he just lost from what I heard last weekend, so he's out of my radar. I don't want him now. I just want to keep moving up, and yeah.
Pleasure to talk to you. Best of luck in Saturday, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.